The creator of Gran Turismo, Kazunori Yamauchi, has just issued this statement on the official PlayStation site. It talks about how they plan to fix Gran Turismo 7 as early as next month. We'll be delving into this together, and at the very end of this video, I'll be giving you my take as a sim racer about where I believe Gran Turismo 7 is headed. Let's do it. Here we are on the PlayStation blog, Gran Turismo 7, an update from Polyphony Digital by Kazunori Yamauchi, president of Polyphony Digital, creator of Gran Turismo. Details on player experience improvements, upcoming patches. Dear Gran Turismo community, thank you for your continued support and feedback on Gran Turismo 7. Your voices have not gone unheard. I would like to apologize for the frustration and confusion caused last week with our patch updates, which resulted in not only a server outage, but also adjustments to the in-game economy, which were made without a clear explanation to our community. I love the way he makes this sound like it was a complete accident, like whoops, our servers went down and suddenly our microtransactions increased and all the rewards for the big events just halved themselves. My bad. We know that this is not the Gran Turismo experience you expect, and we'll be making a goodwill gesture in the form of a non-paid credit pack of 1 million CR, available to those players who may have been affected. Asterisk. I love asterisks. Let's check out what it actually means. So it's limited to one per person, must own a digital or physical copy of GT7 for PS4 or PS5 prior to the publication of this post, which is Friday 25th of March at 1 AM PST, and you've got to log into Gran Turismo 7 between the time this was posted essentially, and Monday, April 25th, giving you about a month to redeem your 1 million credits. Now, this would probably be applicable to most of the people watching this, assuming that you haven't skitzed out and basically refunded your copy, which is more than your right to do at this point. But I would say log in, claim your reward. Is it proper recompense for losing access to your game for about 30 hours? No, not really. The Fisherman's Ranch run would have netted you substantially more than that had you done it for that entire day, but at least it's a goodwill gesture and we'll keep going. You will see this hit your account shortly. Make sure you log into the game before April 25th to claim the credits. The patch update previously deployed was intended to rectify an issue with inconsistent reward payouts within a part of the World Circuit events. But to re-establish the intended equilibrium and provide more accurate rewards based on time investment and completion, it was necessary to recalculate the reward system as a whole. I get that in principle, but in reality you now have some events that you race for 10 straight laps that give you similar if not identical payouts to events where you race for about half that amount of time. So the reward system currently makes no sense whatsoever, and it makes no sense compared to real world rewards and payouts. Nor does it make sense in regards to the game's in-game car economy. There's two different economies. It's the payouts that go to the players and the amount that the cars cost. One is somewhat related to the real world and the other one is just delusional. To improve the player experience, we'll be rolling out a considerable patch in the beginning of April. The number of events will be increased and we'll re-establish the reward system with greater balance throughout the game to benefit all players. Great, in theory. Updates which will come into effect beginning of April. Increase rewards in the events in the latter half of the world circuits by approximately 100% on average. That's great. For those of us farming the world circuit events, that's very, very welcome because the payouts aren't very great given the time investment that you put in, especially for those of us who are time poor. Addition of high rewards for clearing the circuit experience and all gold/all bronze results. That's awesome. Circuit experience is not something I've done very much, mostly because I know most of the circuits or have learned them through the licenses or other means, but this is a good little thing. It might diversify the amount of things that we can farm in the game in order to increase the size of our purses. Always welcome. Increase of rewards in online races. Include a total of 8 new 1-hour endurance race events to missions. These will also have a higher reward settings. Why would the endurance events go to missions? Don't get me wrong, it's great. I love endurance events as much as the next guy, but I don't understand why. Anyway, increase the upper limit of non-paid credits in player wallets from 20 million credits to 100 million credits. Wait, I didn't even realize there was an arbitrary upper limit to that. I mean, don't you want this to be like real life, cats? Isn't that the narrative you guys have been pushing? I mean, in real life, we don't limit the bank accounts of our billionaires. I mean, can't I reinvest this in bonds and stocks and multiply my returns? Because I mean, these are the people buying these kind of cars in real life, right? You want it to be realistic. Anyway. Increase the quantity of used and legend cars on offer at any given time. Beyond this, there will be a few additional patches deployed between now and the end of April which will add new cars and course layouts and make some other fixes. Awesome. Finally, we also want to take the opportunity to lay out some of the near-term updates we're working on. We can't confirm an exact date or specifics yet, but we will give advance notice via www.granturismo.com. They will increase the payout value of limited time rewards as they develop as a live service. Now, if you're as old as I am, old enough to remember that the term live service is actually a dirty term. Every single time this has ever been used, whether it be by WoW or Destiny or take your pick of the game, it's essentially just been code for how we extract the maximum amount of money from our players over time. See, in theory, a live service is great. You might think, oh great, my favorite game is going to be supported for years to come with new content and it's going to be amazing. What it actually means is the in-game economy is going to be refactored, so everything that you could have earned emergently in the game by just playing it is going to take you 10 times longer. You'll be funneled toward continual season passes and DLCs and cosmetics and all kinds of wonderful things that you have to pay for out of your real-life purse in order to shortcut the in-game grind. But I digress, that's an old man rant. Further World Circuit event additions, that's great, we really need that. Addition of endurance races to missions, including 24-hour races. Again, I don't get why it's going to missions. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's just... The N24 is not a mission, it's like the greatest race in the world. How is that not in the World Circuit events, you know? It just... I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of an Asperger's hang-up. Addition of online time trials and awarding of rewards according to the player's difference with the top rank time. That's pretty cool. That's a good one for the aliens out there, for the guys that really want to be sweaty on the time trials. When I get my load cell pedals, I may actually start competing up there with you guys as well. I love doing this stuff on the Nordschleife, so might be a good way to spend some time in GT7. And of course, finally, you guys are going to love this, make it so cars can be sold. Like Gran Turismo 1 all the way back in 1997. Hooray! We're going full circle after 25 years. What a concept that we can now sell our cars as we have been doing in the real world forever, basically, since they were invented. Wow, cats, it's emergent stuff. I love it. How is that a feature addition to a game in 2022? We want to thank you for your continued patience and valuable feedback as we grow and evolve GT7 to make it as enjoyable and rewarding for as many players as possible. We always want to keep communication lines open with our community, as do we, so that we can work together to build the best racing experience possible. Well, that all sounds good on the surface. When taken on its surface, all of this stuff is pretty great, but I've been through this enough times with enough different games to know a little bit of coded language when I see it. They're drip feeding in just enough to keep the players happy, to restore the balance of people essentially buying into the game, but they're going to try and keep as many of the microtransaction elements, or at least the incentives for those micros, as they possibly can. Now, we've seen this happen with Destiny time after time after time, and many games of that nature that brand themselves as a live service. The moment they tell you they're a live service, you know exactly what you're going to get. So just bear in mind, and always, whenever you read a blog post like this, make sure to decode the PR language for yourself first, because it isn't always everything that meets the eye. Now, that's not to say that I am doubtful of everything that's being said here. I think they're very, very positive changes. We definitely need an increase in the rewards on the world circuits, some more variety in the missions, and especially endurance races to do some endgame stuff, because there's very, very little endgame stuff. I've been grinding GT7 like a maniac, as you know, but there's very, very little to do other than run the same championships and races again and again, and you can't even really use your GR2 and GR1 cars at all. So now that we're going to have some way to actually use those endgame vehicles, which we've been grinding for so hard, it actually creates more of an incentive to drive the game in single player. Now, I personally really look forward to this. I think Gran Turismo 7 as a driving simulator has proven itself more than I expected. I think the driving model is more advanced than I thought it would have been going into it. I'm very, very impressed at how one-to-one it is. Maybe not exactly one-to-one with real life, but I mean, the times that I would expect on a given circuit with a given car are extremely lifelike, and I will have this coming out in future videos, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be recreating some classic laps in Gran Turismo with scary accuracy. So there's so much potential in Gran Turismo 7 as a game and as a sim, and you know, even as a more hardcore sim racer, I've fallen for it because of it's kind of the whole package. It's very enticing. There's a progression mechanic, you know, as broken as it may be. There's an in-game currency. There's car collection. There's diversity of driving and diversity of cars, which makes it a lot more interesting than maybe just lapping Spa again and again and again in the GT3. So I personally look forward to this. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, unless they give us a reason not to trust them again in the future, but just kind of Make sure to read between the lines, make sure to see what it is that they're offering you, and make sure to always check to see whether their offerings are just them attempting to mitigate damage rather than actual heartfelt expressions of care towards their community and expressions of respect towards their community. Anyway, until the next one, make sure to stay tuned to the channel, and I'll see you later.